All right, here we are, Week 12 waivers. Hey, there's only a couple teams on buys this week, but they're big teams, big fantasy players. I'm talking about the Chiefs and the Rams, of course. Now, maybe you have Mahomes, maybe you have Goff, but Jameis Winston is back in the saddle again. 11% owned in Yahoo, 9% owned in ESPN. As long as there's no penalty for interceptions, you're going to be fine there. Lamar Jackson, this is an intriguing one. He's got Oakland coming up, so this might be an outstanding play. Lamar Jackson only owned in 22% of Yahoo leagues and 20% of ESPN leagues. And, looking at Lamar Jackson, he was able to do a lot of things, run the ball, and he set up another player I'm going to tell you to pick up in just a minute. And, of course, Baker Mayfield. He's been entertaining. Cincinnati's defense is a wreck. He's only owned in 42% of Yahoo and 37% of ESPN leagues. So maybe he could throw some points up against Cincinnati. And I like Colt McCoy long-term. If you're in a situation you need a guy that, you don't have anybody to depend on or what have you, carry you through the playoffs, or an injury type situation to protect yourself, Colt McCoy may be that guy. It's funny because, well, it's not funny. Alex Smith went down, and now Colt McCoy seems to be the guy. So I remember seeing or hearing this last year with Philadelphia when this happened late in the year, and they only went on a run to win the Super Bowl. Looking at running back, look, there's a guy, Gus Edwards, ran next to Lamar Jackson. Who is Gus Edwards? Undrafted guy. You're going to want to get this guy. Less than 1% owned in ESPN leagues, 7% owned in Yahoo leagues. And look, your guess is as good as mine on how this is going to go moving forward. But I think they're going to ride the hot hand. I think they're going to give him the upper hand. Get you some Gus Edwards. Josh Adams, available in 33%. He's only owned in 33% of Yahoo leagues and 28% of ESPN leagues. And by the way, let me back up to Gus Edwards here. He plays Oakland, KC, Atlanta, and Tampa Bay. Are you kidding me? Look at Josh Adams. What did he do? He put up 7 attempts, 53 yards, and a touchdown. And then he had, only 3 receptions. But the guy's scoring some points. So, yeah, back to Josh Adams. Josh Adams would be a fine ad for you. Bryce Freeman, only owned in 48% of Yahoo and 49% of ESPN leagues. Look, I think he and Philip Lindsay make each other better. Temper your expectations there. You're not going to have RB1 numbers, but if you need to fill in, also look at Elijah McGuire, only owned in 14% of Yahoo leagues and 17% of ESPN leagues. If you're looking for a fill-in to get you 8-9 points, you're going to be fine. Maybe you got Hunt or Gurley out, and you know what? Jalen Richard looks like the beneficiary of that committee situation. Doug Martin dinged up. They're trying to get more carries for Washington. I think Richard's going to end up being the big beneficiary there, but it's a murky committee. Stay away from that if you can. And a long shot, I like Jalen Samuels as a handcuff guy. Heaven forbid anything happen with James Conner in Pittsburgh. And you know what? Wide receiver DJ Moore showed up in a big way. And the defenses he's playing coming up to Seattle, but then Tampa, Cleveland, New Orleans, Atlanta, New Orleans. Defenses he can get some points against, and that's what you want. I don't know, maybe you got, Hill, Cooks, Woods on a bye this week. That's a nice fill-in. Kiki Kuti back up. He's over the injury here and the bye situation. Look, again, he's not going to get you a killer day, but, maybe he's going to get 9 targets, maybe 70, 80 yards, maybe a touchdown. He's only owned in 32% of Yahoo leagues and 14% of ESPN leagues. Traquan Smith, a lot of people were like, Traquan Smith. Well, you know what? All he did was go out there and 10, 159, and 1. Are you kidding me? He's only owned in 13% of ESPN leagues and 27% of Yahoo leagues. Oh, and check this out. Anthony Miller. 2 weeks ago when I told you to pick him up because he was playing the slot against Detroit, he blew him up. 5 receptions, 122, and a touchdown. Guess who he's playing this week? Detroit! What do you think they're going to do? They're going to line him up in the slot. He's only owned in 42% of Yahoo leagues and 49% of ESPN leagues. If you want 10 weeks or better, 10 points or better, Anthony Miller could be your guy. And look, maybe you have Travis Kelce on a bye this week. Vance McDonald, we've been talking about Vance pushing people around. 62% owned in Yahoo, 52% owned in ESPN. And Antonio Gates, the 105-year-old tight end, You know, he only put up maybe 7 targets. It was 5 receptions, 80 yards, a touchdown. He's only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues and 13% of ESPN leagues. If you need a quick fill-in, go with one of those guys and do yourself a favor. Go to HallOfFameFantasyFootball.com and win.